There's a lunch thief that is taking everybody's lunch at my work, and it's weird because we're like a really close family business, so I don't know how someone thinks they can get away with it. Well, I'm going to lay out the craziest trap. Let me show you exactly what I'm going to do to catch this thief.
Hey guys, 25-year-old here, and I've been working at my local car dealership for 2 years. Over this time, I've gotten to know everyone pretty well, and we're a tight-knit team, or so I thought. There's been an issue lately that's left me puzzled, frustrated, and betrayed. I'm not one to jump to conclusions, but I just can't help but feel like something is off. A couple weeks ago, I brought in my lunch, a homemade triple bologna, with mustard sandwich and some chips. Nothing fancy, but it was my favorite. After a few hours, I went to the fridge to grab it, and it was gone. I checked the trash, thinking maybe somebody had thrown it away by mistake cleaning out the fridge. Nothing. I asked around, and nobody saw it, so I shrugged it off, thinking maybe I misplaced it or forgot it at home. But the next week, it happened again. And again. Every time my lunch would vanish without a trace, and by this point I was starting to think it was not an accident. I began asking around, and the responses I got were a mix of sympathy and frustration. One of my coworkers mentioned that she had stopped bringing in her lunch altogether because of a similar incident. It, quote, happened to me a few times, she whispered, looking around to make sure nobody was eavesdropping. One day, my lasagna disappeared. The next week, it was my sushi rolls. I just gave up and started buying lunch instead. I was taken aback. It wasn't just me. This was a reoccurring problem. Why had not anyone mentioned it before? I tried to dig deeper, asking others about their experiences, and most denied any knowledge of disappearing lunches. But a few have their suspicions. I bet it's Greg. One of the salesmen said, you see, Greg was the newest member of our team. Having joined only a few months ago, I've seen him snooping around the fridge a few times, but I can't be sure, so don't quote me on that. But Lucy, the receptionist, has a different theory. I think it's someone from another department. I've seen a few unfamiliar faces near our fridge during breaks. I even heard a theory that it might be a homeless person sneaking in during lunch breaks, or that somebody might have been playing a prank. Each theory sounded more outlandish than the last, but without evidence, what could say for sure? By now, the disappearing lunches had become the talk of the dealership, and some joked about setting up a camera or laying a trap. While others speculated wildly about who the culprit might be, it was honestly getting ridiculous. I found myself stuck in a difficult spot. I love my job, and I got along with everybody, but this issue was starting to cause friction and distrust. Some began pointing fingers, while others defended their innocence. The atmosphere was getting tense, and I felt responsible for stirring the pot. I needed to get to the bottom of this. But without evidence, accusations, or pointing fingers, it felt impossible. I was mad. Mad at the unknown thief, mad at the situation, and mad at myself for letting it get to me. Every day I found myself eyeing my coworker with suspicion, looking for any hint or sign of guilt. It was affecting my work and my relationships, but I felt helpless to stop it. So here I am, turning to you before I confront anyone or take any drastic measures. I thought I'd get some outside perspectives. Update number 1. Hey guys, sorry, I know it's been a while since I last posted about the lunch thief saga at my workplace, and a lot of you were really helpful with advice and sharing my frustration. I thought things have died down, but man, I was wrong. After my last post, the lunch bandit talk started to simmer down. No one's food has been gone missing for weeks. With the situation seemingly under control, I decided to lay low and avoid bringing lunch from home. Opted instead to buy my meals. Even though it was getting expensive, I thought the peace of mind was worth it. However, after about 6 weeks of relative peace in my wallet feeling a little lighter, I decided that maybe, just maybe, the problem had resolved itself. With everybody having been on high alert for so long, surely the thief would not dare strike again. So I started bringing my lunch to work, and the first few days went so smooth. I was hopeful. But by the end of the week, that familiar sinking feeling returned because my lunch was once again vanished. I was beyond furious. After everything, the talks, the suspicions, the weeks of peace, here I was again, hungry and frustrated. However, this time there was a clue. As I opened the fridge, I noticed the handle had streaks of car grease on it. This distinct type of used in our garage, it was undeniable and my mind was racing. During that time, mine was the only lunch in the fridge, and whoever had taken it left behind an inadvertent clue. Well, a realization struck me. The mechanics? But they had their own separate break room connected to the garage. Why would any of them come to our break room? They weren't even supposed to be there. But, fury bubbling inside me, I stormed into the garage, ready to confront every single one of them, and I said, "Who's been going to our break room? Who's been taking our lunches?" I demanded, with my voice echoing. A few looked up startled, and others merely smirked and chuckled. The audacity. "Hell no, man, we've got our own food. Why would we touch your little fancy sandwiches?" one of them retorted, laughing. As I turned around, feeling defeated, I caught a glimpse of something that reignited my rage. There in the trash bin just outside the garage was my lunch bag, crumbled, discarded. It was clear as day now. Despite their denials and laughing, I was convinced one of the mechanics was our lunch bandit. Thoughts raced through my mind. Do I report this to management? Do I gather evidence? Do I plan a retaliation? The feeling of violation was overwhelming, and it was not just about the food anymore. It was about respect, trust, and boundaries, and why target our break room when they had their own? Were they just doing it for fun, or was there a deeper motive? While I was still in the middle of the investigation, I wanted an update. And if anyone has any advice on how to handle this without causing further workplace issues, let me know. Update number 2. Hey guys, I'm back with yet another update, and it's a never-ending lunch bandit debacle, this time with a spicy twist. Strap in, folks, because things get hot. The thefts, unfortunately, did not stop after my last update. It happened again a few weeks later, and I won't lie. It left me absolutely livid. The audacity of this person, or people, to keep taking this, well, it wasn't theirs, it baffled me. So one afternoon, after having my lunch pilfered again, I dashed out to buy something to eat, and all the while fuming, I had, persisted for so long on this drive an idea. It began to form in my mind. I remember my brother, he works at a chili farm, and they specialize in some of the spiciest chili varieties known to mankind. A plan started to crystallize. What if I gave our lunch thief a taste of their own medicine, albeit a scorching one? I immediately ran to my brother, explaining my predicament and my plan for vengeance. Always one to support a sibling scheme. He eagerly handed over a vial of ghost pepper extract. When I visited later that day, this extract was no joke. I'm talking the tiniest drop would ignite an inferno in your mouth. You see, the thing about this extract, it was meant to do one drop in an entire hot sauce bottle. One drop was enough to dilute the entire bottle, right? Keep that in mind. So, I decide to prepare a decoy. I started crafting my favorite sandwich, the triple bologna with mustard, but with a deadly twist. I carefully spread the entire ghost pepper extract between each slice, ensuring that every bite would pack a fiery punch. I brought my spicy creation to work and left it in the fridge. Days passed without it getting taken, and as if the thief had become cautious. By the 4th day, I was starting to think that I might need a new plan or a fresh sandwich, but then it happened. I was in my office when I heard a frantic footstep of a mechanic's voice echoing in the corridor. "Does anybody have water?" Quick, intrigued, I stepped out and I could not help but strike a laugh. A scene of utter chaos awaited me in the garage. There was Rio, one of the mechanics, a guy I never would expect. He was hunched over the bin with his face the color of ripe tomatoes, salvia, snot tears streaming down his face, and a portrait of agony. I approached him feigning concern and offered a cold bottle of water, and I grabbed it from my office. "So, Rio, you're the infamous lunch thief, huh?" Gasping between gulps of water, he shot me a venomous glare. "Yeah, I took your sandwich," he hissed, eyes watering, "but after this, you better watch out." I chuckled and retorted, "Hey man, maybe next time don't take what isn't yours." News of Rio's spicy misadventure spread like wildfire. The general mood was gleeful. Well, everyone seemed relieved that the mystery had been solved. And yeah, I used the slightly unconventional method. Oh well. I was just glad that the lunch saga seemed to be reaching its end. However, Rio's parting words left me a bit unsettled, and well, was this truly the end or just the beginning of a new chapter of lunchtime warfare? Update number 3. Hey everyone, I'm here again. You won't believe the latest turn of the saga. After my ghost pepper revenge seemed to have caught the thief red-faced, I was walking on air for weeks, content that justice had finally been served, but I guess life has its own way of giving me some drama back. Just last week, I was unexpectedly summoned to the boss's office. Now, I've always been a good employee, punctual, diligent, no past records of misconduct, so I was genuinely curious about what the unexpected meeting was about. As soon as I stepped into his office, the mood was palpable. His face was, well, looking thunderous, and sitting beside him was Rio, looking smug with a malicious glint in his eyes. Before I could even comprehend the scene, my boss launched into a tirade about how dangerous and unprofessional my prank was. Rio could have, and I quote, died. Why did you do this? It was incredibly dangerous. We could have been held liable. Well, I tried telling him a long history of lunch thefts and the countless complaints from not just me but several other employees, but he wouldn't hear it. No, you're terminated. He said it so coldly, with no remorse. You can't just use company property for dangerous pranks. I was floored. I sat there in absolute disbelief and trying to process the gravity of it. As I turned to leave, Rio smirked at me, adding to the burning rage. It became evident to me that this was not just about the spicy sandwich prank. It was about power dynamics, friendships, and the unfair hierarchies that exist in workplaces. Later, as I collected my things and left the dealership for the last time, a colleague pulled me aside and whispered, "Did you know Rio and the boss are close pals? They've been friends since middle school." It was a piece of information I wish I've known earlier. The puzzle finally fit together in my head. This was about vengeance, not safety. Rio's ego had been bruised, and with the boss being his friend, it seemed like he had the perfect avenue to get back at me. In the days since my unceremonious exit, I've oscillated between anger, sadness, and hilarity. Sure, I lost a job, but the memory of Rio's miserable, snot-covered face that made him go home from work that day because he couldn't handle the heat was an image that never failed to bring a smile to my face. Every time I felt down about the situation, I remembered that face and could not help but laugh, and only thought about him at his house, chugging gallons of milk, trying to get rid of that ghost pepper extract. I can't help feel, but the entire situation was blown out of proportion, though. Was it perhaps childish to use ghost pepper extract? Maybe. But was it deserving of a termination, especially when the root issue was Rio's continuous theft? Well, I don't think I'm the a-hole in this situation, but let me know, guys. What would you have done?
Let's read some comments from today's story. Oh my gosh, this is golden. Look, OP, you served up a slice of justice, and I am 100% behind you on this one. If somebody steals, they have to be ready for the consequences. It's karma, and it's hilarious. Rio and the boss are the real a-holes here. Although, I do kinda wanna wish you just got back to them at firing you. But hey, at least you have that spicy memory. Comment 2. I'm sorry, but OP, you're definitely the a-hole here. You can't just feed someone something without knowing their allergies or reactions. It's not just about the spice, but listen, what if Rio had a severe allergic reaction to it and it turned fatal? Your boss is right, you did what was incredibly reckless. You're lucky the situation did not turn out even worse than it did. Comment 3. In my opinion, Rio is the villain here, the main villain. You're at the same workplace and he's stealing lunches, and then he whines to the boss after he gets a taste of his own medicine. Rio needs to man up and deal with the consequences of his actions. I'm on your side. Comment 4. Everyone sucks here. Rio should not be stealing lunches, especially at a workplace where everyone knows everyone. It's childish and petty, but OP, using ghost pepper was a bit too much, wasn't it? Both of you need to grow up and handle the situation more maturely. Guys, let me know which comment you agree with most. I do have a bonus story today. It's only about 3 minutes long, but I thought it was an interesting one, so we're going to jump into that bonus story right now.
Hey guys, so some dialogue of how the conversation with my girlfriend went. First, I should probably give you the title of the reason I'm posting this. My girlfriend and I recently moved in together after dating for a year. My cousin, who is a female, we grew up and I'm very close with her and have traveled to my city for a conference. Due to last-minute hotel cancellations, she had no place to stay. Naturally, I offered our apartment. This is where the conversation left off. Let me begin. So, where is she sleeping tonight? In our guest bedroom, honey, but if that's uncomfortable, she can just share the bed with me. We've done that countless times before. Share the bed? Seriously? Are you two? No, she's my cousin. We're just close. I don't know why you would ever think that. Well, it's just weird. You see, guys, let me give some context. I've always had a tight bond with my cousin. Growing up, our families lived next door, so we were like siblings. Vacations, sleepovers, we've shared rooms and beds, zero issues or weird vibes. It was always about convenience and being comfortable. The next day, my girlfriend drops a comment like, "Did you two have a midnight chat in bed?" And something else like, "Hope you don't get mixed up and cuddle with her." I told her these jokes are in poor taste and asked her to refrain. She revealed that her ex-boyfriend had an oddly close relationship with his sister. This led to complications as the sister was always overstepping boundaries, meddling in their relationship, and even influencing the breakup. My girlfriend suspects the sister had a strange hold over her ex. Now, I barely know of my girlfriend's dynamics with her family. Our relationship moved quite fast. Her stories often suggest they're more distant and formal, unlike my tight-knit unit. Could this be why she finds my closeness with my cousin peculiar? Is it possible she's projecting her past relationship fears onto ours? She's now hinting that I should limit my interaction with my cousin to avoid complications. Guys, let me ask you, should I be concerned about her reactions? Is this a potential red flag in my girlfriend? What's up, guys? That was the short story of the day. Let's check out some comments from people who were not agreeing with OP at all. Honestly, OP, I think you're missing the point. It's not about how close you are with your cousin or how your families grew up. It's about boundaries in a relationship. Moving in with someone is a big step, and when you did that, your home became a shared space. Offering your bed without discussing it first with your girlfriend is a bit thoughtless. Every relationship is different, and while you may not see an issue with it, you need to respect her boundaries. Comment 2. OP, I get the family things and they have different dynamics, but you need to step back and look at the situation from an outsider's perspective. Sharing a bed with any family member when you're in a relationship can be seen as really odd, especially since you're a guy and your cousin is a girl. Anyways, if you don't communicate, it will, well, be bad for your partner. It's not about being close to your cousin, it's about respecting your shared living space. Comment number 3. I just find it super alarming, OP, that you cannot see why your girlfriend might be uncomfortable. Besides her past experience, it's common courtesy to discuss sleeping arrangements in a shared living space. And besides, yeah, I totally agree with your girlfriend. It is very, very weird that you're just so nonchalantly sleeping in the same bed as your adult cousin who's a different sex from you. Red flag, not on your girlfriend, on you.